I'm in Paris! But it's the small one in Las Vegas. There's the Bellagio. So yeah, I went on a vacation to Las Vegas. You know what they say? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So I guess the rest of this video will just be like a black screen or something. I'm kidding, that'd be way too boring, and I've got plenty of stories to tell, and we have to see just how well I did on my Vegas bucket list. So why did I go to Vegas? Good question. I went to Vegas because A, I'm finally older than 21 and not in a pandemic or on a contract on the other side of the world. And 2, because, you're not gonna believe this, but I'm a circus artist and I wanna see circus shows. So, if the CRA asks, this was not a vacation, it was actually a research assignment to see circus shows. So I only had 3 days to cram as many circus shows in as I could, because I couldn't afford any more days. That was too expensive. So I had planned to film like a little vlog thing while I was actually there, but I actually went with my mom, my sister, and my grandma. So there was no time for filming at all. But anyway, I did get video of the bucket list items and also of a whole bunch of B-roll. So it'll be fun. Enjoy! And the total show count is 3. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but believe me, it is, because every single show in Vegas is either at the same time or not on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, which were the days I went. So, bad planning on my part. But we did get 3 shows under my belt, or more out of my wallet, because Vegas shows are expensive as fuck. Out of all the shows in Vegas, I wanted to see this one the most, because I've watched Penn & Teller my entire life, and I wanted to see them in person, specifically before they retire, which probably won't be anytime soon, but I was not taking any chances. The show was great. They did some new acts, some of their traditional acts that I'd seen before online. They did one of my favorite acts, that was awesome, and Teller even talked for an entire act. And they had some really, really good merch too, so that was awesome. Overall, 9 out of 10, could use more juggling. So yeah, I'll be handing in my resume shortly, and then once they get more juggling into it via me, it'll totally be a 10 out of 10. Would recommend. Wait a second. So actually, as I was figuring out what I wanted to say about all these different shows, I realized I had too much to say, so I'm gonna make it its own separate YouTube video. So make sure you tune in to my next YouTube video to hear all the things like what I learned, what I took away, what I liked, what I stole from all the cool shows that I saw. And yeah, I'll see you that next fortnight. But for now, let's go back to the bucket list. So when I was growing up and prepping to run away and join the circus, I heard all sorts of really, really good things about all the Cirque du Soleil Vegas shows, so I knew those were gonna be on the bucket list, like oh, ka, or love, you know, all the single syllable ones. But it turns out all of those ones are part of the don't play on Tuesday or Wednesday group. So instead we had to go with Cirque du Soleil Mad Apple. It was good. This show was great. It had great characters, great guest performers, great acts like a juggler, Wheel of Death, shadow puppets, tumble track, hair hang, straps, and so much more. So overall, I would give it 9.5 out of 10. I really liked it, and there was a juggler! What? Woo! So don't worry, I'll still be handing in my resume just in case, you know, they have like a cast changeover or something, and then I could be the juggler. It'll be great. I'm not delusional, you're delusional. Now I chose Absinthe by Spiegelworld because it's a cabaret circus show, and you can't go wrong with more circus. But you're not gonna believe this, they really, really put cabaret in the cabaret circus. Because I did not put 2 and 2 together that this was an adult adult show, but it was incredible. It had a great mix of like stand-up comedy style characters, traditional contemporary circus, regular comedy, physical comedy, and just great circus. So I don't think that made any sense, but it was one of the best flowing shows I have seen in like ever. 9.5 out of 10. But Evan, where did the 0.5 go? Why is it 9.5 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10? No juggler. No juggler! Okay, I do know that in previous casts there have been jugglers, so the show could be better. But, I guess it just leaves me no choice. I'll just have to send my resume in. Darn, oh no, okay, time to get the sexy act brushed off. You know, it'll be awesome. I see no flaws. But we are actually working on a rated R act right now over on the Patreon page. So thank you patrons for supporting this video. If you want to become a patron today, click the link in the description, go to patreon.com/EvanTheJuggler, and it's only $5 a month. It's great, and you get exclusive Evan the Juggler content, like the updates on the rated R act that will be coming soon. We even have blooper reels at the end of each month. We also have TikToks that were too raunchy for TikTok. Talk about rated R again. And of course, all of our lovely patrons get written down right there. So thank you patrons for being awesome, and of course, back to the bucket list, because that is all of the shows we have seen. So yeah, those are the 3 shows we got to, but that's not all the shows. There's also the free shows! In Vegas, there's the occasional one, like the Bellagio fountains. We also walked by the Atlantis thing. I have no idea what that was. It had weird animatronics and we just kept on walking. Another fun one was, of course, the free one in the hotel that we rushed to get to after Mad Apple, but it turns out it was only on Fridays or Saturdays, which again was not the day we were there. So we really didn't know what to do with ourselves after that. We just kind of did a couple loops of the casino, then went to bed. It was great. Or things like the Mirage Volcano, which we rushed all the way across the strip to see for like an entire hour-long walk, and it was empty.
Oh my god, we walked all the way here for nothing? Nothing? We better go freaking back. Yeah. I can't believe we came all the way here for nothing.
It was down for maintenance. It was not on. All the water was drained, or lava was drained. Yeah. So I guess I did get to kind of see those shows, or at least where the shows happen, but it was just like the skeletons of the show, like ghosts of shows past or present, well not present, more like distant future after maintenance is done. Or I look it up on YouTube after the show, after the trip, which is what I did. Next on the bucket list, I had specific juggling tricks I wanted to perform in front of specific monuments of Vegas. Like the Statue of Liberty in front of the Statue of Liberty. Burke's Barrage in front of the Mirage. Or the fountain in front of the Bellagio fountains. See where I'm going with this? Okay, I'm breaking the pattern now. Here is me juggling the Las Vegas sphere. It really looked bigger from the plane. There's the sphere. Then I don't know where anything else is. Or stripping on the strip. Okay, maybe not that one. I didn't really fancy getting arrested. Especially not in America. You can see Paris all the way over there. And last but not least, swords in front of Excalibur. But TSA took those away, unfortunately. But I got to look at it. Wow. Next on the bucket list is the casino. And I had a plan for this because basically, I didn't want to lose all my money for the entire trip. So what I did is I was going to take $50 and put it on red, and if I won, that $50 I could use for more gambling. That's my fun money. And if I lost, then it's a good story. So that was the plan, and I ended up only doing $40 because of the conversion rate. So that was expensive for the entire trip. But basically, I had already put $5 into the slot machine, so I kind of didn't listen to my own theory, because we were waiting for like an hour in the casino, because the check-in line was very, very long when we got there. So yeah, I put $5 in and I got $5.35 back. So we're up a little bit, which is good. But basically that means I had to go to the cashier to get my money back. And since I'm there, hey, I figured I'll get my chips. So I give her my ticket, she gives me my money, and I go, and here's $60. Can I have $60 in chips? And she goes, oh, no. You have to get that at the table. And I was like, huh? I thought all the movies and stuff, you're supposed to go to the cashier. Like, I could have sworn you go to the cashier, get the chips, go to the tables, lose them all, and then go home. That's how it goes. But no, turns out you go to the table, you put your money down, and they give you chips. So I go to the table, but there's way too many people there. There was so many people, and they clearly knew what they were doing, whereas I did not. Obviously. So I just keep doing a loop until I can find another roulette table, which was on the other side of the casino, which is huge, by the way. They got big casinos in Vegas. I mean, I'm not surprised, but they were huge. So I find an empty casino roulette table, which was awesome. And I go up to them, I put my $60 down, I put my ID down because I look like a child, and she looks at the ID, she looks at me, the dealer this is, looks at the ID, looks at the bookie, looks at the ID again and goes, 1 second, and then calls over the biggest security guard I've ever seen in my life, and he kind of goes like, yeah, no, it's right, and she's like, oh, weird. So it turns out that the guy that was there before me looked exactly like me, or at least very, very similarly, so she was confused as to why I came back with another ID, which I didn't. I promise, I don't have a fake ID. I'm old, I don't need one anymore. Ever. What? Moving on. Anyway, that was a bad joke. I didn't have a fake ID. I was a very boring child. So anyway, basically, I ended up getting my chips, but turns out they don't do denominations of 20. So she gave me 2 25 chips and 3 $5 chips, which adds up to 60. So then I couldn't do my proper splits. I needed to put $20 for my dad on Black 13 and $40 for me on Red. And so I was kind of looking for a bit, trying to figure out if I could make the math work, which you can't. That's not how that works. So then I had to ask her to switch my my poor 25 into a bunch of 5s. I got my 5s. I put them onto the Black 13. They go, oh, thank goodness. He knows where to put things. That's a solid start. And then I put all my other ones on Red, and they both kind of look at me and go, you know you're betting against yourself. And I'm like, yes, I know, I have a plan. And then they spin it, and it goes around and around. Oh, by the way, I chose roulette because it's the only, the only casino game that involves a ball. And oop, wrong color. I am a juggler. So it went around and around and around, and it landed on, just building suspense, number 9, which is Red. Woo! So I actually won $40 more at the casino. Sorry, Dad, you did not win. But I won! So I take my chips and I run to the cashier with a big smile on my face, and she goes, oh wow. Which was very anticlimactic, but hey, I left the casinos with more money than I came that day, so that was good. I actually won at Vegas. Bucket list achieved. Although I did end up spending it all on dinner that day, because it ended up being pretty much exactly $40, which is way too much for dinner. But it was very yummy. It was just too fancy for me. $40? Crazy. Next bucket list item, souvenirs. You can't go on a trip without getting at least one souvenir. Like, come on, how else will you souvenir le trip? Don't worry, I know I conjugated that wrong. It's been a while since I've been to Paris. My French is a little rusty. I may have stayed in the Paris hotel, but that does not mean I have been to Paris. Although, I have actually now officially seen both Eiffel Towers from the plane. Because I actually had a connecting flight in Paris way back when, and I could just barely see it out the window. So I've seen the Eiffel Tower, but I also have now stayed in the Paris hotel with a view of the Eiffel Tower out of the window, but I have never been to Paris. It's not confusing at all. So my goal for souvenirs this trip, other than of course to souvenir le trip, is to get items that were as tacky as possible without being an eyesore. So I got a keychain. Exciting. I got this tiny little itty bitty welcome to Las Vegas sign keychain, and I love it. But you wanna know what my theory of keychains are? I've done it with a couple of these other items here. It is to buy keychains that are like this, that have a whole bunch of different little pendants on them, because you can take one of them off, and then you have a reasonably sized keychain. Because if it's a big thing, it's not gonna fit on my keys. So look at that. It's the perfect size, and I love it. And now it'll be in my pocket until it falls off. The next item I got were shirts! Not only Penn and Teller, but I also got this amazing Welcome to Las Vegas signed shirt, which was $6.99, which is the best price for a shirt. I also bought this one, another video shirt. I like this. It's a little too big, but I'm going with it. And a Cirque du Soleil sweater. Woo! This one was really expensive, so it evens out with the Welcome to Las Vegas $6.99 shirt. But I'm not complaining, it's a cool sweater. Another thing that I collect from trips are pins, which I put on my backpack. I have all of these ones here, but the Vegas one's on this side because I ran out of room. I got another itty bitty tiny Welcome to Las Vegas pin. This one's pink. I didn't realize that, but I like it, so I'm not complaining. And of course, I cannot go on a trip without coming back with a mug. I love this thing. I do not drink hot liquids. I drink just cold water out of this thing. But it's amazing. Look at that, regular mug with Vegas on it. What more is there to say? The next one has actually been behind us this entire time. It is these playing cards from the Paris casino. What? Usually I don't get casino cards because, as you can see, I have an insane amount of luxury cards, but I figured it's Vegas. That's the only place I'm gonna buy casino cards. So, they're pretty good too, actually. I'm pretty happy with them. Wait, I forgot they're in order. I don't wanna mess them up. Cards. I also got this awesome Welcome to Las Vegas sign magnet. Magnets are another thing that I collect every single time I go to a new country now. It started on the cruise ships, and as you can see, I have a lot of them. But it's a fun collection to have. I also got a Penn and Teller poster that's actually signed by them, so I'm pretty happy about that. There was only one souvenir that was on the bucket list that I did not bring home. And it was M&M's from the M&M store. I did end up going, it was really, really cool, but it was really expensive, so I just figured I can buy M&M's at home. I don't need the fancy ones, it's okay. So I did leave those ones behind, but the M&M store was really, really cool. The huge wall, they had a huge wall of all the different M&M's, like any kind you possibly could have wanted. I did find a loophole. I stole some of my sister's, so it was totally okay. But there was one souvenir that was not on the bucket list that I did bring home, and it was the flu. Which ironically, I got as I was flew-wing through the air. So yeah, I may or may not have flew up on the flight. Wouldn't recommend. Not a fun way to end the trip, but I did force me to take the rest of the week off in vacation, so it was not fun, but rest was good. I'm still kind of tired. So when it comes to souvenirs, no matter where I go, I end up getting kind of like the same theme of things. Like, I get my collection items, like the magnet or mug or keychain or pin that I get from all the different places, no matter what, so it adds to the collection. And that's because I find it really fun digging through all the souvenir shops looking for things that aren't ugly, basically. And then I get more useful things, like in this case, a shirt! Every time I wear it, I'm gonna be thinking of Vegas. This one I'll also be thinking of Vegas. It's a bit more on the nose, but they're useful. I'll wear them in everyday life and use them in everyday life. And of course, when it comes to souvenirs, I like to get at least one thing that's just unique. Like, in this case, it was the cards and the Penn and Teller poster. I just look at them, I go, ooh, I like that. And as long as it's not ridiculously expensive, I will spoil myself sometimes, but within budget, and also, as long as it fits in the suitcase, I will get it. And that is the best method for me to not have any regrets about what I buy. Although this does not help with buying gifts for other people, that is always a delicate balance that is very hard to do. But I like my things. And so that is the bucket list complete! Woo! I never have to go to Vegas ever again. Unless, of course, I want to see the shows that are not on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So, or I get my own stage show. You know, maybe one of my resumes will work out. So, I'm gonna be waiting on a callback and we'll see how it goes. I was just kind of leaving them around on the ground. I'm sure I'll get at least one callback. But in the meantime, thank you patrons for supporting these videos, and thank you for watching. And of course, join us next time for Evan the Juggler Nerds Out about live theater. Woo! I'm good at that.
Topic.